Hi, this is Coach Kenny. I am so glad you have joined me today, and I am looking forward to doing what I do best. I am Coach Kenny. Kemi Oyeshola is my name actually, and I run a company called H2T, means how to think. And I work with entrepreneurs, any kind of entrepreneur. And what I do is I help them to think right. I teach them and show them how to think. And today I just want to share with you a few thoughts about how to think. Let me tell you a bit about how I got into this, how to think itself. I was married. I have two great children and the most beautiful grandson. And my marriage was breaking down. I was a bit miffed about that because I'm a Christian, you see, and I didn't get married to go through a separation, a divorce, be a single mother. It just was not the thought. It wasn't the plan. It was not the plan. And I was married for 16 and a half years before I thought, okay, I've got to call it quits. But you see, in it, I messed up. My husband messed up. We tried to fix it. All kinds of silly things happen. But being a Christian, I thought there is a way out of this and we missed it somewhere. So, of course, in the place of prayer, I went to God and I said, God, why do people do bad things? We know the right things to do and we don't do it. You know how it goes. And I recall hearing from God and he said, it's because of the way people think. I said, because of the way people think. I thought that was such a simplistic answer. I thought, come on, God, let's say something else. And that was the answer I got. It's because of the way people think. But of course, trust me, I thought, okay, if that's the answer and it's this simple, then there must be something in the Bible about it. By the way, I believe the Bible is the best personal development book anybody can read. You need to read that Bible. A very simple success principle is in the Bible. What you sow is what you reap. So if you want to sow wealth, then if you want to reap wealth rather, then sow wealth. If you want to reap a great business, then you've got to sow a great business. You've got to do what you need to do to get a great business. So as I was thinking about this, I went into the Bible and is there a word like thought or think in the Bible? And I found it in the book of Proverbs. I was shocked. It's the book of Proverbs chapter 23 verse 7. And it says, part of it, the B part of it says, for as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. For as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. There and then I realized if I can change what I think, if I can think right, if I can be right, if I can think right, I can be right. If I can think right, I will do right. If I can think right, I will choose right. If I can think right, I will decide right. If I know how to think, I will know how to do, what to do. It was just so simple. And I thought, it is? I said, okay, here we go. And obviously, as a result of my separation and impending divorce, I needed help. If you're out there and you're going through anything, don't do it on your own. You cannot do life on your own. You cannot do life on your own. Don't do it on your own. The pain is better able to be borne by you if you get help. A good friend, a wise friend, someone in a particular profession. Excuse me. So I looked for a coach. And I said, I need someone that's going to help me through this process. I didn't plan to be here. I didn't expect to be a statistic. And that's how I got into coaching. I first of all got coached, and then I decided I want to coach others. I want to help other people. And I decided to be a coach. And we're here today, Coach Kemi, with How to Think. And so that's just a little bit about me. I am a better person for it, as you can see. And for me, it's a journey. It's a journey. I don't know everything. I don't know how to think about everything. I'm constantly learning. One of the things I'm really grateful for are my children. They are such an example to me of how to be of how to be a person, a good person. Because you know how children are, and they're both in their 20s now, so they're not babies. But you know, I got separated about 8 years ago, so you know they were in their teenage years then, and I tell you, it has been a learning, not just a learning curve. It's been a learning straight line, a learning triangle, a learning rectangle, a learning circle. It's been a learning phase. And that's why I'm so grateful for them. Because I have had to learn how to think. And it doesn't get better than that. You want to teach something, you want to do something, you also need to know how to think. You need to be it, to teach it, to train it. I firmly believe that it's one thing to be able to stand in front of people and say this and do that and do the other. But when you can live what you preach, your life will speak. And I'm grateful, really grateful to God for that. So let me go to my chart. There's a chart right behind me. I have two, and I'd like to put us through just to share with us a few things about how to think. I do not really know which way I should turn. No, not this chart first. It is this one. And I hope I'm in the right place and you can see what I'm pointing at. Right. It says up here, a thought is and I wonder what you think a thought is. What is a thought? I want you to think about it. And just go on my Facebook page and tell me what you think a thought is, and I'll get back to you definitely on it. What do you think a thought is? I think a thought is a picture. A thought is a picture. A thought is a picture. You see, when you think, you are creating pictures. You are creating something on the ground of your mind. You are creating what you need to work on. Because you are creating it, you are creating it. That means you are able to recreate it. You can choose what you want to create. You can choose the picture, excuse me, that you want to paint. You can decide how you want the picture to be. How big, how blue, how yellow, how many colors. You can decide. A thought is a picture. A thought is a picture. A thought is a picture. Pictures, they say, speak 1,000 words, isn't it? You can say a few words about a picture, but if you just look at the picture, it's speaking so many more words than your words can speak. And because a thought is a picture, it is such a powerful thing. Thinking a thought. You've got to be careful what pictures you paint on the ground of your mind. Some people call it imagination. the nation where you imagine. That's the whole nation. You know, if you're responsible for a nation, you've got to be careful what you imagine, what you think. As an entrepreneur, with whatever business you have, what pictures have you been creating on the ground of your mind? What is that passion you've had for years and years that you have not fulfilled? Based on the pictures you have been putting on the ground of your mind. Maybe you are one of those, like I have been, without enough money to get a camera, to put myself out there, get business cards, go online, build a website. You have not had enough money. And you've sat there and thought, created a picture in your mind. Well, I don't have the money. dot, 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 that means I cannot do it, full stop. And that's the end of that. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. You become that picture that you have put on your mind because you have put it there. You have thought it and you have become it. Do you know you are not what you eat. You are what you think. Excuse me. So be careful what pictures you put on your mind. You may not have the money, dear entrepreneur, to start the business with a website, but you do have the sense to look for free websites. Free? No free? Free. You do. You can think about that and you can actually make it happen. That's a different thought. That's a different way of thinking. Do you know how I came to that thought? This is what I did. I decided with my business that I want to make this happen. There must be a way. Whether I have the money or I don't have the money, there must be a way. I didn't create the passion in my mind. I'm sure when God made me, He put the passion in there to do a thing like this. So there must be a way. I didn't want to borrow. I wasn't going to beg. I was busy doing what I could. But I also wanted to do this. And I started to look for a way. The gurus, some of the gurus I follow in personal development, they say the mind is goal-seeking in design. The mind will look for ways to make things happen. The mind does not give up. It doesn't say, well, can't do it. That's not the mind. That's you. You decide that your mind is a giver-upper. And so you become a giver-upper. Every single person listening to this video right now, you are not a giver-upper. You are unstoppable. You are indomitable. You are invincible. You can do whatever you set your mind to do. Good one. How have you set your mind? Think about it. When you run, you're in a race, they go on your marks and you take a particular position. Get set. So you set yourself for the gun to go off so you can run. But if they say on your marks and you go on your fingertips and on your toes, the way you do on your marks, you position yourself and they say get set and you sit on the ground. But the others are set. When the gun goes to, they say go, they will take off to run, but you are not in the right position to take off and run. So they would have gone quite a few yards before you scramble up, get onto your feet, get up with your hands and begin to run. You've got to set your mind. I have another video coming through called The Mindset. The Mindset. Look forward to that. So let's go back to my little chart. So a thought is a picture. A thought is a picture. So number 2, a thought is a picture. A thought is what picture? What do you think that is? A thought is what picture? What picture? This is what I call it. A thought is your picture. Not my picture, not your mother's picture, not your brother's picture, your picture. Not someone else's picture, your picture. You painted it on the canvas of your mind. Your picture. A thought is your picture. So let's say as you were growing up, you had someone in your life that didn't really believe in you. We have examples of that. Excuse me, I think I've put something in my eye. We have examples of that. People who are put down, like Dr. Miles Monroe. One of his teachers told him that he couldn't make it. He wasn't going to make it at all in education. We know where he is today. There is another one, Les Brown. He was called by one of his teachers educably immature, an expression like that he was uneducable and he just wasn't going to make it through education. We know where he is today. He is one of the people I learned from. Thank God. They did not create the picture of those words, of those men or women on their minds. They had a passion to fulfill their destiny. They had a desire. Les Brown had a desire to talk. And he started as a DJ. He started as a DJ. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about the picture on your mind? Right now, I want you to type in there on my Facebook page, whose picture has been on your mind? Is it your picture? Guess what? It's your picture. Because it's on your mind. No one can paint a picture of their mind on your mind unless you allow it. Unless you take it in and begin to paint what they've been saying, what you've been hearing on your mind. It's their words. It does not make it the truth about you. The truth about you is that you're going somewhere to excel. The truth about you is that you have value to give somebody. The truth about you is someone in this world that will never see me, never hear me, never click on my own web page or whatever, will listen to you, will hear you, will see you, will like your face, will not like my face. You have got something to give. That book needs to be written. It has nothing to do with how many English words you can put together, how good your English language is. Put something together. Get someone else that can write it. Think. Write. Put the right pictures on the ground of your mind. You can. It's down to you. The way God made us is such that we are responsible for our minds. No one else is. We are. We decide what goes on there. We decide what comes out of there. We are. And I just want you to be all you can possibly be and become all you can possibly become. So let's go to the next thing. I really like this one. And I have a template that I'm going to put up for you for free download if you would like it. And I will let you know when that's out. Right, so it says here, sometimes we need to dash the thought, dash of our minds. What do you think that says? I'll show you. Sometimes we need to push the thought out of our minds. Sometimes that's what it takes. Literally, taking our minds and pushing the thought out with a force. You don't just do, I don't want to think like this anymore. No! You push that thought. You take it. You say, you are not serving me. I am not going to keep you. I've been thinking this way for the last 5 years of my life, or the last 5 months of my life, or the last 5 days, or the last 5 hours, or even the last 5 minutes. If that thought is not serving you, push it out of your mind. And I'll tell you how to do that shortly. Sometimes we need to push the thought out of our minds. Not into our minds, out of our minds. Out. Sometimes we need to push that thought out of our minds. Out of our minds. Out. Not to the side. Not, okay, I've pushed it. Nah, but not quite out. Where do you want to go? What kind of thoughts do you want to have? Let's move on. And then, pull an S-O-T or an R-O-T into our minds. And I'm sure you're wondering what's S-O-T, what's R-O-T. Well, I have that down here and I'll tell you what they are. So when you push a thought that's not serving you out of your mind, you pull a thought that will serve you into your mind. There is a way of thinking. There is a how to think. For as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So we need to push thoughts that don't serve us out of our minds, and we need to pull thoughts that will serve us into our minds. When those thoughts get into our minds, that's what we call, when those thoughts get into our minds, we begin to ruminate on them, we think on them, we meditate on them. That is why we become them. That is why as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Because thinking means, a synonym is to meditate, to ruminate, to consider. And when you consider something, day 1, day 2, day 3, well, you're becoming that thing. You are becoming that thing. So let's go on. So I said to you, I'll tell you how to push a thought out of your mind and how to pull a thought into your mind. So let me tell you that first before we go into, but it will connect with SOT, ROT, and POT, as you can see behind me. When you realize that the results you are getting are not serving you and they're not what you want, then you know that thought, you need to push it out of your mind. There is no point sitting down to complain and moan and worry and have a pity party and say, and go and meet your coach and sit down for your 1 hour session and pay £1,500 just to have a pity party. I don't know why I can't do this. I keep thinking about it, but it's just not working. What are you thinking and why is it not working? That's the question you need to ask yourself. I like people that are going somewhere. I don't mind if you're stuck, as long as you're ready to be unstuck and you're ready to do what it takes to be unstuck. So you look at that and you're honest with yourself. All right, I'm a bit afraid. I'm filled with fear that if I step out and take this action with regards to my business, it might not work. And so you are afraid. That is fine. It's okay to be afraid. It's just fine to be afraid. Just don't stay afraid. Change the thought. How about, I am going to do it? How about this thought? I am going to take this action, and what if it works? I will find out when I take the action. It just might work. Do you understand what I'm saying? I have a whole series that I'm preparing on pushing thoughts out and pulling thoughts in. And you'll hear about that later. But let's talk about this acronyms. POT stands for problem-oriented thought. Problem-oriented thought. There are many of us who have problem-oriented thoughts. The thoughts are just problematic. They make problems, we create problems, and then we complain that we have a problem. When your thought is a problem-oriented thought. So I'll give you an example. What example can I give you now? I'll give you an example. This example. You've got, it's winter and the wind comes in underneath the doors. So you have a draft and it's cold inside. And what you do is you begin to think, there is a draft, I need to do something about the door, that means I've got to, you're thinking, that means I've got to get someone in, and do we lengthen the door, do we get something to put under the door? Well, if we get something to put under the door, every time we want to open the door, we've got to move it out of the way, but oh gosh, how will I find somebody? You are creating problems. There's already a problem, and you are creating more problems. More problems. More problems, and we're going to stick to that example. Let's look at the next acronym. SOT. A solution-oriented thought. Solution-oriented thought. There is draft coming in through the door. How do we stop the draft? We need to call somebody in. We need to go online, check out what people can do without spending a lot of money or without calling a professional. Or we can just put paper underneath or put one of those little things that you stick to the end of the door so every time the door opens and closes, it does not obstruct. That's solution. That is solution. You're thinking in such a way to bring solution. That is solution. And that is the way it should be. And moving on swiftly, ROT. There's an R there. And it stands for something. It stands for, what do you think it stands for? Would you write it in my Facebook page for me, please? While I write it up here for you. Results-oriented thought. You want to have thoughts that will give you results. So what do? You get up, you go online, you call your brother, uncle, friend, whosoever. You tell them about the door, the draft, They say, get this, do this, speak to this person. Excuse me. And hey, presto, you do what you need to do. No more draft in the house. Well, I hope this has been of value to you. I have enjoyed sharing this with you, how to think. And I look forward to uploading more videos for you to listen to. The Lord bless you, the Lord keep you, and the Lord make his face truly to shine upon you. Bye-bye.